I'll take it. All right. We're live. Great. Hi, everybody. Thank you for hanging out while we were going live and for waiting for us. We're here. So I'm Danielle Walker. This is my good friend, Angie Smith, also an author. I asked her to join me here tonight because not only is she funny and will keep you entertained, but she's one of my best friends, and there's just nobody better to be asking questions.
I'm pumped.
So, yeah, so we're here. We've got tons of copies of Eat What You Love that I am going to be sitting and signing. In fact, I should get started because there's a lot to go through.
Yeah.
But we're here to just chat about the new book, to just have some fun, to sign copies, and to answer your questions.
Yes.
So we'll go through all of that.
That's my favorite part.
The questions.
I like the questions.
Your questions or their questions?
I just like theirs. Like it kind of keeps you on your toes.
It does.
Bit.
So you can continue to submit questions. We are live. Go ahead and hang out with us in the comments. Make some new friends.
Also, can I say, I'm sure you've all bought this, hopefully.
Well, or
if
hopefully
you
not,
haven't,
because you're getting one tonight that's signed.
Well, I love it so much. I'm so proud of her. So let's start with that. And now, are you ready?
All right. Well, so let's talk really quickly about the book.
I had a question though. I was ready to. No, you go ahead. Talk about your book. Okay.
We have a timeline here. Okay, we're supposed to be talking about the book first, and then Q&A.
It's always about you, Daniel. Good.
Well, you guys have heard me talk about this book a lot, and Ange has been there. She was there along with some of our other friends throughout the whole creation process of this one. And so after celebrations, I just was like, there's still so many comfort food, family favorites, the things that we want to be eating around this time of the year and throughout the fall and like the winter months where you just want that food that reminds you of growing up, that reminds you of your grandma, the things that if you have a special diet, that you have those family kind of heirloom recipes that you're like, I can't use these anymore. And so I really wanted to just recreate all of those. So a lot of them are my grandmother's recipes, like my mom's recipes. A lot of them are requests from you guys where you emailed and just said, you know, shrimp and grits or biscuits and gravy are two of the things that I used to eat growing up. Or so many people, chicken and dumplings. It was like so many people, like that was my husband's birthday
I remember
dinner.
you working on that.
Yeah. A lot. And
that
you guys tasted the biscuits and gravy when you were there because I'm not from the South and I had never had a traditional. So I was like, I need you and Annie to taste this to make sure that this is legit. But yeah, that's really what the book's about. That's what the recipes are about. It's about reviving tradition. It's about reviving time around the table with family after you've had dietary restrictions that a lot of times those things feel like they're lost. And it's just about eating the food that you love, which
that's the thing.
what the
I
title
think
came from.
a lot of people who like gluten, I'm not against any grains. But I would make this stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like people who eat this way would feel like they couldn't. And they don't think that what you've done would be as good as... And it's really great. You've made a lot for me.
This comes from you.
I live in the South, and I am impressed. I really am.
Well, that was, I mean, even just testing recipes on you guys or other people that were coming into my house, that was the biggest thing because I think with food, dietary restrictions, things, it can just divide people so much. And I don't want anybody to feel like they have to make 2 meals, first of all. Right. That's not what I do. So if I'm going to host, I don't care if you have to eat gluten-free or grain-free, or if you don't, I want you to come in and enjoy the food and not to feel like you have to go to a drive-through after you leave. Right. Because I just want you to love the food and feel satisfied. And so whether you are cooking for somebody that's coming into your home that has dietary restrictions and you just want to be a good hostess and you want to make them feel welcome and loved by food, or you in your household have to cook that way on a daily basis, you can use those recipes. So that's really really what it was about.
You killed it. No, you really did. I think this is a hard topic to do when you
can be. You're
have the restrictions. No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Look,
you just let your foot up.
Good. It's all about you. Can I ask you a question?
Please do.
Are you done with it?
I'm done. And I would love if you guys have been cooking from it at all, or if you've tried some of the sneak peek recipes that I put out on the blog. Tell us what you've made in the comments too, and just let me know what you're thinking about it. But yes, let's start. We've got lots of questions. I need to start.
It was so sweet though. Like today, we had like a quick thing this morning, and there were people who were like, "I've been working my way through all of these recipes." Like
it came out on the 4th.
A lot of recipes.
So sweet. We had a very sweet intimate just release party with my friends here in Nashville. Just like 13 of us.
It was perfect.
And we made Christmas wreaths, and it was just magical.
Sweetest.
It was very sweet.
All right, focus.
Okay, I'm focused. Okay. I'm signing.
What is your favorite recipe in this book, and what was the inspiration behind it?
We kind of talked a little bit about some of that. Oh my gosh.
Favorite. It's like a kid.
It's like a kid. It's like I'd have to, and it's, I'm going to have to switch to the photo recipe index here because I can't remember what's in there. By the way,
I was just going to say, well played. You're like, hold on. Let me check real quick to this thing.
And subtle. I can put the ribbon bookmark. Oh,
you have a ribbon bookmark? I haven't seen the real until today. It's exquisite.
She's not that little anymore.
Look at those toes.
Okay. My favorite recipe. It's really hard to decide. I would say one of them would probably be the beef stew because it was Ryan's grandmother's recipe. And he always talks about it, and so I wanted to recreate it. And then the desserts, like there's a banana pudding. There's dye-free sprinkles that you make. That? Yeah, banana pudding, like, you know, church casserole potluck things. Like that's what that is, recreated without any dairy and any grains.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it's kind of hard to pick. Honestly, a lot of these recipes are my favorite.
Okay, tell me. So the inspiration would be Ryan's. Like
I would say it's all family. Like any of those ones that I listed are recipes that I ate growing up, or that he ate growing up, or things that I wanted to be able to do with my kids that I did.
That's a great,
right? So that's really the inspiration behind it. And then I think, you know, like I mentioned, just people's stories about their tradition and their foods that are their tradition. So there's like a chicken pot pie. There's the chicken and dumplings. There's all those things that everybody kind of has their own little story. Yeah. There's a French dip in here. That was probably the first recipe I ever learned to make. It's you do it in a slow cooker, and it's the beef, the shredded beef, and then there's a grain-free roll if you want to make it. And you still get to dip it, but that was the first recipe I think I ever made it like when I was probably 10 years old, and it was a packet of like, you know, the powdered au jus and deli roast beef from a packet, and like so I recreated it, and that's fun because I just have so many memories around cooking that kind of stuff in my house.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
all right, good answer.
I'm not doing very well here. I've only signed 3.
It doesn't matter. This is a great question. Stephanie from Texas. I like this. Would you ever consider doing a Feeding Friendships episode with someone who isn't your friend yet? I would love to see you cook for a mom who is new at the diet, perhaps myself. Are you going to Tomball, Texas? Yes or no?
Hi, Stephanie.
To you, Stephanie.
Okay, so Feeding Friendships is my new video series, and I go into my friends' kitchens and cook with them. At the moment, it's just people that I know because I just feel like that dynamic on camera and getting to actually show that friendship is kind of the magic of that show, because there's history with us, and there's totally. You know, and we get to have conversations that I think happen around food, and
right?
They're, you know, and part of the concept of the show is that I don't get to see these friends that often. And but we can catch up very quickly in the kitchen, because when you're cooking and you're spending time together, it's like you just can kind of fast forward. Yeah. So all that to say, in that series, no, I probably wouldn't do it with people I didn't know. But
that's a fun idea.
It's a great idea. And I've always thought that, like, to be able to go into somebody's kitchen who
feeding
needs
new
help.
friendships.
Feeding new friendships. So yeah, it's not out. I mean, the Feeding Friendships, I have at least like another season or 2 of people that I want to do it with, that I want to visit. But I think there's another idea of that, of getting to kind of go in and do like a kitchen makeover with somebody where you're going and you're helping them go through their pantry, and you're getting them going. So
okay, well,
it is not off the table, Stephanie.
List. Stephanie, you're on the list. This one says cooking meals on a budget. We've talked about this.
Yeah. Okay, so there's some tips in all of my books on how to try to make this more budget friendly. It is no lie that you're cooking from scratch and you're wanting to choose really good quality organic and grass-fed, and that is definitely more expensive. But there's a lot of tips I have on how to save and how to do it more, like to do it in a smarter fashion.
Yeah, you have with me. Some of them is ordering online, or like knowing what you're going to need in bulk, or what you're, because my thing is planning. Like I plan the day of my meal,
right?
And then I run to the store and I'm like, oh, it was $400 to make this. That's good,
right? So I think there's 4 weeks of meal plans in this book, and I think that's a huge money saving tactic.
Yes, totally.
So, yes.
But I appreciate that also because I feel like something I've learned from you that I think is super valuable is when you say like plan ahead, it doesn't mean, because I have friends who are like 2 months before.
No.
You are so great at doing
week
just
by
like
week.
a really basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I feel like that way you're not overwhelmed by it. You're not getting the last minute
yes.
Because some of the stuff when you go, it is you don't want to run and buy everything last minute.
Right.
I think if you can plan ahead a tiny little bit, it's good.
I think so too. And there's also, I think, another tactic that is utilized in this book is making and freezing ahead. So I keep, there's meatballs in there. There's these breakfast quiches. There's muffins, and there's these sausages, and chicken nuggets. And
So
those
do you
are the things.
wait until it's on sale, or do you just sort of go and do it and then have it?
This is all homemade.
No, but I mean the stuff that's on sale. I mean the ingredients.
Oh.
I don't mean that you're going to Jimmy Dean and popping in some biscuits. I just mean are you turkey's on sale?
Yes.
I'll make some turkey.
If you have the space, which we just recently got a very small deep freezer that it just fits in this little corner in the garage, and that has helped because then yes, you can save a lot by buying if grass-fed beef's on sale, go get a bunch of ground beef. But yeah, that is one way to do it if you see that it's on sale. But the batch cooking thing, it takes some time. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like if you're already going to be making one portion of something, why not double or triple it? You're not using any extra dishes to do that, right? And then you can just freeze it and have it in advance.
Yeah.
And I think that is a lifesaver because I think the biggest thing with budget too is when you haven't planned ahead, you either go and get stuff at the grocery store that you don't need that goes to waste.
Totally.
And I think probably the biggest budget killer for people is waste. I think we throw away so much produce and
every
so
day
many herbs. And right. So it's
it's such a guilt complex.
If you've planned your meals to and you're only buying what you have planned, then I think you save money.
You're so good at that.
Yeah. I'm actually not that great at it, but
I think you are. Don't criticize me. Okay, just really quickly.
Yes. Book. Where do you get these?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get them at premiercollectibles.com/Danielle. You can go on there and just fill in all your information, and you can have one of these lovely signed books sent to you, which is such a great Christmas gift. I always say, it sounds so cheesy, and I always hesitate to say it, but giving one of these books or sharing my story, I'm you're giving the gift of health. I know that it sounds like such a marketing jingle, but I feel like there's no better gift that you could give somebody than saying hey, this type of diet could actually help your symptoms.
Well, and this one in particular, because I feel like some of the people who would never have heard of this would be more open interested in saying I can still make chicken pot pie, or I can...
Yeah, you don't have to eat a bunch of bland food for the rest of your life. So yes, you can order as many copies as you like and put them under Christmas trees for the holidays, because I am going on a book tour in January, but that's past the holidays. So this is
the
prime time.
Yeah, it's time to get it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I kind of know the answer to this, and it surprised me.
You know the answer to this?
Well,
maybe you should
I was surprised by how I would answer this now as opposed to what
before
I would have before I spent time with you in your studio kitchen.
Okay.
When do you know a recipe is perfect and ready for a book? Is it a process or feeling or partly both?
Oh my goodness.
I was surprised by this.
When do you know that a recipe is perfect and ready for a book? So only my most prized and perfect recipes go in my books. Mm-hmm. The blog are my this is fine.
I'm working hard to get, it's close.
It's close.
It's really close.
Good enough. So these ones are tested and tested and tested. And I know that it's right when it can pass for normal food. Yeah. And nobody's ooh, what's in this? Or that's my biggest compliment is when they're this tastes better or as good as the original. I know if my kids eat it and my husband eats it, that it's a total winner. Ryan is my best, he is my biggest fan, but also a great constructive criticism person. So criticizer. So if it passes his test and he loves it, that's usually it too. But some of these, for instance, there's a nut-free sandwich bread in here and a pizza crust, and those took at least a dozen times each. And then after I perfect it in my kitchen, I have you guys, honestly, like my readers, my fans, the people who buy my books, I have about 20 or so that we've used for. Some of them have done on multiple books, but I send the recipes out to them before this goes to print because I want to make sure that my recipes can be done in your home kitchen. So they all test them. So each recipe in this book is tested by at least 2 or 3 people, and then it goes to a professional tester as well.
Yeah.
So just to make sure that they are like soundproof, that they can be fed to lots of different types of people, that they can be cooked in different kitchens, whether you're like a brand new cook or a seasoned cook, that everybody can do them and that they'll turn out like they're supposed
With
to.
that said, that was a great answer, though. It was a great answer. I've been around you when you're doing it, and I'm shocked by how much you actually can taste something and go like,
needs an extra
need
teaspoon.
like a quarter of a half of a quarter of a teaspoon. Like you just have a great sense for it that I don't. I think
thank you.
You'll keep fighting for it until it's right.
Yes.
But sometimes it's right really quickly.
Yes, that's true. It's
So
much easier these days than when I first started. This is not. This is my 4th rodeo, so I feel like it's my craft has been honed a little bit more.
Sure.
Not that I don't still have failures, but it's a lot less failures than when I first started. So because they didn't go to culinary school, so it's like all trial and error. So I've just been working my way through it.
I feel like I should keep saying this. PremierCollectibles.com/Danielle.
If you want one of these signed copies, that's where you get it.
Look how cute she is. Remember when I was like, all right, here's what I would do with your hair. Here's what I would do with the spaghetti.
Yes, I do.
We care about that.
Yes, you're looking out for me. And if you're not viewing, if you're watching this like later too, you can still go to PremierCollectibles.com/Danielle and get one of these. So don't worry about it. If you're not jumping over there right now, you can totally do it later. Or if you feel like you got one, but then you're like, oh, I really want to get another one for my mom or whatever, you can go back and get it anytime.
Okay, so here's the next one. Hi, Danielle. Hey, Camilla in Las Vegas. What is your suggestions to what is your suggestion to substitute
cassava flour?
Cassava flour. Tell me about what you do with that. And eggs. I know eggs. First of all, what is that?
I was wondering what you're pulling me in for.
Well, I like to write things.
I know.
And I feel like I don't use that word. So I don't want to say it wrong. What is it?
Okay, so cassava flour. It's actually where cassava root is where tapioca starch
I know, I
comes
figured
from.
that. Okay. Yeah, no, sorry, go ahead. Tapioca. I actually didn't know that.
I don't use cassava flour. So, Camilla, you don't need to worry about substitutes for cassava flour in this book because I don't use it. I do give, if you can tolerate cassava flour, which I personally don't, I give it as an option to sub out with like almond flour if you'd rather use cassava flour. It's really high in starch, and I just have a very hard time breaking it down and digesting it. Okay. And a lot of people feel that same thing. So I don't use it.
What about eggs?
Eggs are a tough one. I do give, so there's a substitution chart in this book, which is something I've never done before.
Well done. Transition.
I just have to make sure people see all of the things that I put into this book because you have to see the value of it.
It is.
Before that, there's the meal plan. So it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 4 weeks. You could just follow straight along and have 4 weeks worth of meals planned out. You don't have to worry about it. But this is the ingredient substitution chart that I worked really hard on because it is not as much of a clear science in grain-free baking as it is in your like traditional baking with ratios. And that's like when you go to culinary school, like they can teach you all of that, but it's different in grain-free baking. So I'm giving substitutes in here for eggs. There's a few different options. There's different substitutes for some of the fats that I use, different flour substitutes. So it's, I give a disclaimer at the beginning. I'm like, if you sub things out, it may not look or taste exactly like the intended recipe in the book, but it will get you pretty close if you've got different allergies.
You put beans in cookies, and my kids ate them.
I put beans in cookies?
I feel like garbanzo. Didn't you put something in?
I don't eat beans.
But you put something in the cookies.
Which cookies did we make? And now I can't remember.
Broccoli cookies.
Broccoli cookies.
Oh, I like this.
But your kids ate them.
Kathy in Sandy Springs. What do you do when the dish or drink does not taste entirely like what you are gunning for? How do you trial and error? Do you ever give up on a recipe? Do you ever give up on a recipe?
I have given up on one recipe.
What was it?
Mac and cheese.
Don't give up. Really? Why?
Now that there's some other grain-free pasta alternatives out there, I think it's probably a little more doable. Except for that, a lot of the store-bought grain-free pastas have a bunch of things in it that I can't usually tolerate, like xanthan gum and things like that. But being dairy-free and grain-free, I tried this one. I thought I was being really clever by using cauliflower stalks, like because they're a little more chewy,
like the bark, like the base of the tree,
not the tree. And a nutritional yeast sauce.
What made you?
It was terrible. I threw it away.
Why'd you even cut that part of it and not throw it away?
Because, well, first of all, waste. But second of all, when I would eat...
sorry.
When I would eat it, it had like, it doesn't cook as much as the top does. And I was like, oh, it's got like a little bit of a chew to it. Maybe it would work. It was awful, 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 awful.
Do you use that for other stuff? The base of cauliflower?
I grate it sometimes and use it.
I grate it. I just mean, do you use it full? That is amazing. All right, so you gave up. Let's keep fighting for mac and cheese. Can I say that?
Yeah, maybe
that
next
would be amazing.
But yeah, so what do you do when the dish or drink does not taste entirely? Yeah, so I think part of it is expectations. You kind of have to
That's a great way to start that.
Lower them a little bit. I think when I first started and I would try other people's recipes that, were a bread or a cookie or whatever, if you're eating something that has wheat in it the day before or that's filled with cream and butter and then you're trying to eat something like this, clearly there will be a bit of a discrepancy and you might just be like, this is not as good. But if you've been off of grains and dairy for 8 years, 9 years like I have, like this stuff tastes fantastic. And I don't remember what the other stuff tasted like because it's been so long. It's like you have to train your taste buds.
I think that's a great.
Yeah.
I feel like that's your next.
Should I train your taste buds?
Train your taste
Danielle Walker's Train Your Taste Buds.
Kathy. I like that we can see their first names.
I like
in
this too.
Sandy Springs, Georgia. We just
you
did
already
yours.
did that one.
Good job. Good job. I hope we answered your question. You really should have gotten someone else. Christina in Arizona. What advice would you give to someone starting AI?
You're learning a lot.
What is AIP? What is that? For the first time, any words of encouragement and or tips?
Okay, so AIP stands for Autoimmune Paleo or Autoimmune Protocol, and it is a much more strict style of eating than even what I do. But it is what I did when I first did an elimination diet back years ago when I first really noticed like a serious improvement in my symptoms. So it is incredibly strict. I would tell you, Christina, words of encouragement is that it's not meant to be forever. So keep holding on to that. An AIP is meant to be more of like an elimination style for a certain amount of time while your immune system and your gut has time to heal, and then you're able to start reintroducing food. So I think like hold on to that because it is very restrictive and you're cutting out a ton of stuff.
Wait, what's different than what are
So it is paleo, which is no grains, dairy, legumes, or refined sugars, but then it also adds on top no eggs, no nuts and seeds, no nightshades, which are tomato, eggplant, white potatoes, and peppers. Nightshades. It's a class of
it's night. Like I want to pull down.
It's a class of it's a class of vegetables that actually grow at night.
Okay.
And they cause cause inflammation. So it's a lot of foods that you have to cut. I would suggest, quite honestly, just skipping the baked goods for a time being. I would try to like recreate things during that phase when I was off of those things, and I would just always be left feeling very underwhelmed. There might be some great AIP recipes on the internet these days because there's been people that have been doing it for a long time. But I would just say to keep looking forward.
But it's
and that it's a season. It's not a forever thing.
I like that. What do you recommend, Michelle from Prosper, Texas? What do you recommend for me to make from your cookbook first?
Oh my goodness. From this one, whoa. What is everybody making? They're making a lot of the sweets. So I'm seeing a lot of the snickerdoodles and the cowboy cookies being made.
Cowboy cookies? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I feel like I made those at your house for your girls.
What's in them?
There's big coconut flakes because Todd doesn't like coconut. And I remember
yes,
that was like he was like.
I do.
I know I do too.
Yeah. No, those are amazingly good.
I would say.
You can see why people make that
any of the. I mean, it depends what you're wanting. Like if you want to bake, I would say the bagels or the bread. There's everything bagels. You had those this
I
morning.
was just going to say, was that?
Yes,
oh my gosh,
you had them
really
at the brunch
good.
this morning.
Really good.
And then I think just for like an easy weeknight meal, there's a butter chicken that's done in an Instant Pot that is so good. The list of ingredients looks long, but most of it's spices that are in your pantry. So if you have some chicken in your freezer, like the chances are you might be able to make it that night, just depending on what kind of spices you have. But that's a good one. And then there's a bunch of sheet pan meals. The Moroccan chicken is one of my kids' favorite. And it's just so pretty too. But it's all done on one sheet pan. So it looks a lot more, there they all are eating it.
Look at your people.
It looks a lot more time intensive and beautiful than I think people like. You can serve it to, I guess the nice thing about that one is it's all done on one pan.
Okay.
And you can just throw the pan on the table for your family, but if you're having people over, you can put it on a platter.
Is it
and
spicy?
it looks, no, it's not spicy at
Oh
all.
my gosh,
Isn't
that
pretty?
is beautiful.
So it's like, it's elegant enough to host people, but it's also just like an easy, super easy weeknight meal. And all my kids love the chicken. They don't necessarily go for like the butternut squash and stuff that's around it,
easy.
but I'm not kidding.
No,
it's all done on one pan.
But it doesn't. It doesn't look like it. It looks like
It does. It looks fancy. So I gave you a lot of answers there. Sorry, but
it's not a lot of answers.
Okay.
I love that. Becky, Becky, you're so selfless in Hanford, California. Can you sign the book to Tanya or Tanya? Question.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time getting back to my healthy eating. What are 3 tips you can give me to help me get back on track?
Ooh, okay. I nobody wants to hear this, but I think you have to just dive in. Becky, Becky, I think it's just really tough when I did it for probably 3 years or so of just back and forth and touching and kind of dipping my toes, but not sticking to it. And I really think when you just clear out your pantry, and whether you do a Whole30 or you do some sort of other sort of reset where you've got kind of some guidelines around you and you've got a plan. That's probably 2 tips in one, but having a plan out those meals. If you want, do the 4 weeks of meal plans in this book, and that's going to set you for a month. And I think that's really what it takes to make a really good habit. Like at least, especially with diet, like in eating, I think you need to really stick with it for at least 2 weeks. I think 30 days to really start to kind of set that healthy habit back up.
Okay. It says you make a lot of your own bread. Do you have any store-bought suggestions for those of us who love to cook but hate to bake?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, so store-bought for the baked goods is tough. There's just, in terms of ingredients, there's not a lot out there right now, unfortunately, that A, lives up to my desires for textures and flavors, and then B, that doesn't have things in it that I can't eat. There's just, when it's shelf-stable, they have to add extra things in. So it's just an unfortunate, like... They have to put gums and binders, and those are the
xanthan.
Things. Look at you. Want to spell it? I would love to hear you try to spell
Xantham.
Xantham.
Is that right?
I think it was.
You don't even know. You just quizzed me like, I'd love to hear you spell that. I don't know how.
I have to write it out, but the way you just looked at the camera and spelled it like a spelling.
Xantham. Can you use that in a sentence, please? I don't eat xanthan gum. What's your favorite kitchen? I can answer this. What's your favorite kitchen appliance or tool? On the count of 3, we're going to say it together. Ready? Are you ready? Yeah, we are.
Hold on, I have to think.
Oh my gosh. I
Okay.
have to think.
Okay, ready?
1, 2, 3.
A
Instant
good
Pot.
knife.
Oh. Actually, that's good.
A good knife. I just, like, I love the Instant Pot. It's great, and it's really great for last minute. There's a lot of Instant Pot recipes in here because I've been using them more and more.
No, you're right. A knife is.
As I have good, like, more kids.
You get real nervous when I use a knife, though. She's convinced I'm going to cut my
I think
fingers off.
one good sharp knife in your kitchen can do wonders. It saves you so much time.
Yeah.
Like when I used to have knives that were dull, you spend so much time trying to chop. So I would say that, or a good blender. I loved the Instant Pot, but I could do without it if I had to.
Okay. When is it okay to substitute frozen for fresh?
Oh, vegetables or, so
Shouldn't specify.
I think it depends. You can, if something's not in season that's called for, I would actually suggest buying it frozen because it means that it was picked at its like height of its growing season. It wasn't sprayed with a bunch of stuff to preserve it. It was in season during that time. So I think that, and it can actually be more affordable too. The only downside to frozen veggies and fruit is that they can get a little bit more soggy. Like they're
true.
usually blanched before they're frozen, so that means they're like put into boiling water really quickly. So they're already kind of started to cook. So definitely go on the lower side of the cooking time if you are doing frozen stuff that you've thought out first. But I really think you can sub it in most of the time. I don't think it's and then the only other thing too I would say with fruits is that if you're bringing them from frozen to thawed or cooking, they end up having a lot more liquid in them. And so you just might have to account for that as well, like either dumping out some of it.
How do you account for that? You just pour it out at the end. They're still soggy.
They can be soggy. Yeah, I think that's just the downside. But if you can't find it fresh.
Sorry, Kathy, you're making bad choices for your family. I'm totally kidding. I made that up.
There's no name with this one.
No, there are no names with any of these. I scrolled through. Is there a Danielle Walker TV show in the works? You have such a beautiful family. She sure does.
That's very kind. I don't know if my family would be in it as much if there was. We are working feeding friendships. Could be. I don't know. I can't give you any information yet because we don't have it. I will tell you, it is a rough road in the TV world when you are a healthy chef. Like the major networks have straight up said we don't want a healthy show. So, it may not be on regular television, but maybe maybe it'll be on Hulu or Netflix. I will say, if you haven't seen it, there is a new documentary that I filmed. Gosh, it was like 3 years ago because I was pregnant with Easton in it. And it just came out on Netflix. It's called The Paleo Way, and I'm in episode 1. And I share my whole health journey. And it was really fun to stumble upon it. So, yeah, we are working on it. Honestly,
it would be so much fun.
I have wanted a TV show for the longest time only because it is you can just reach so many people, and there are still so many people that have never heard that diet can be a major factor in their ailments and their diseases and their symptoms. And so if I could have, a space where I could share that message with people that it hasn't reached yet.
Do you want to start a petition or?
Yeah, if you're watching and you work for someone, let's do it.
Okay.
Want to do one more and then let's do this other
do you have
fun
any
game?
kitchen disaster moments?
I would say that mac and cheese was a major disaster.
I feel like there's some stuff in your heart about the mac. I feel like have you talked to your counselor about the mac and cheese? Was it really a kitchen disaster? Like
it was disgusting. There are very few times where we don't still eat what I make, even if it needs to be, tweaked and nuanced. Because I'm not going to throw it away. But that one was like we each took a bite, and it was like,
what did you do? You wasted.
I did waste. You're right. And then there was another time where I was blending I drop things all the time. I usually will post it on Instagram. Like I have dropped full pots of food on the floor. Bone broth. We'll talk about that. I know.
It was a dark place to
Bone broth, you guys, I know people out there have had this happen. It takes, if you do it on the stovetop or a slow cooker, it can take like 24 to 48 hours. So it's a long process and it stinks up your house. And there have been quite a few times where I have poured the bone broth into like a colander and forgot to put the bowl underneath to actually like catch the liquid.
Don't we all? Yeah.
When you make your bone broth, don't.
Right. Well, have I tried?
But so then it all just goes down the drain.
That's really sad.
And I've blown things up in like blenders and it's gone. Yes, I have had my fair share of moments in the kitchen. All right.
Are you ready?
I don't know.
Do we have a timer?
I don't know.
Can someone time us? All right, Lauren, thank you.
I'm the most indecisive person in the world, so the fact that I have to do these I feel rapid like fire.
No. These are. Do you want to concentrate on this and not sign? Because I feel like that's a lot of multitasking. You let me know when you're ready.
Okay, here we go.
And
scene.
All right. Where were you born?
Castro Valley, California.
That was good. Who would you want to play you in a movie? Do it like Family Feud style.
I know, I can't even think of, but I have her in my head. I can't think of her name.
Give me an idea.
I just watched. She was like
anything. Sounds like do something. What? Who are you talking about? Movie, TV show.
Kate Hudson. I just think she's great. Kate Hudson.
Oh, she is.
Maybe I want to be her. So
right. You'll play her in a movie. Okay. What was your first job?
Noah's Bagels.
Like a gluten bagel? Yeah, that's fantastic. What's your biggest fear?
Oh my gosh. My biggest fear?
Yeah.
I'm really afraid of spiders. That's not like...
That's your... Back to the counselor. All right.
That's
Number 5. I
probably have much worse. Number 5.
Okay.
Who
makes you laugh the most? Right answer. Number 6. What is the one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Fish sauce.
Is that your actual answer?
I'm tempering my answers because of your reaction.
Okay, you tempered and you landed on fish sauce.
It's such a great condiment, and it makes you can like, if something's super bland,
All right,
you can
let's just move along.
Great.
Or
Almond flour, eggs, maybe some more normal things, grass-fed butter. Okay, go.
All right. Okay, what is your greatest accomplishment?
Oh, my kids. Good answer, bad answer. That face.
Such a good answer.
So good.
I love that you said that.
I almost said my New York Times bestselling cookbooks.
I wasn't.
Reeled it in.
Well, because this is what we're focused
if we're talking
on.
business,
so it was like an easy
my
transition.
Kids. No, my kids. 100%.
Okay. Who is the most interesting person you met recently?
Oh my gosh.
That's a good question.
That is a great question. Howie Mandel.
Did not see that coming. I saw that.
Well, but recently, and he is very interesting.
Is he?
Yes.
He doesn't like to touch things.
Nope.
Right? He's not a toucher.
Nope. Couldn't shake
Didn't
hands.
like germs.
Yeah, but he
Okay.
was very, very kind and interesting. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean,
All
I was just thinking like the most immediate person
Also,
that
I feel
that's
like
new.
he ages, but
No,
whatever.
probably not.
What's your middle name?
Lynn with an E.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Clicking pens? That's not really my biggest pet peeve. It's just like I couldn't think of.
That is a pet peeve.
It's a pet peeve of mine, but
I'd say mouth noises. You
I
don't
have
care
more.
about like.
I definitely have more. I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
Okay, we
Try to
can
focus on
come
the
back
positive
if you.
here.
All right. Oh, good for you. What is the last book you read? Was it one of mine?
Oh my gosh. I'm the worst.
You're not a great reader.
I'm an awful reader. You know what?
Because you're cooking all the time.
I'm cooking all the time. Mm-hmm,
What would you say? You can't think of one?
I read a book about moms and sons. I think it's about being a mother to a son by Emerson Eggridge. Joyce Eggridge.
Yeah.
That's the last book I read.
Eggridge.
And
Okay.
I haven't finished it. I was in
say
a book
that.
club where I was
Don't
supposed
say that. I feel
to
like I
finish it.
highlighted it. Don't say you didn't finish it. Sorry, Joy. We love your dad.
I'm finishing it. It's just I'm just slow.
What's your favorite hobby?
Cooking. No, it really is.
Do something outside of cooking.
I don't do much else besides hanging out with my kids and cooking.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't have a hobby?
I don't.
You cross stitch.
I like to no, I don't cross
Does
stitch.
not.
I was like, wait, it's just I don't know.
Half reading books. Okay.
Half
What
reading
is
books.
your guilty pleasure?
Ooh. All those like
Don't
bake-
say like nuts.
I
Like,
would-
don't say anything.
The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
Oh, that's good. That is a good. Okay. Do you have an?
Uh-oh. I haven't seen these. What's happening?
I'm gonna kill this one. Do you have any hidden talents? Don't make me bring up a medley. Don't make me. She does have hidden talents. She's a pretty good singer.
Oh, well,
You are.
I like to sing, and I danced for a very long time. That would probably be.
Oh, this is your hidden.
And I can like turn my hand backwards.
You can? Wait.
Wait, should we see?
Yeah. Can you really? I can. Are you serious?
Hi.
Why do we not know this? Oh, wait. Hold on. You're up there, and I'm like, okay. Try again. 1, 2, 3. Wait. Oh, wait. That's.
Hey, watch it unwind.
Wait. I don't want to. Wait. You've got a height advantage. Hold on. Let me just.
It's kind of starting to hurt. Can I unwind?
No. Don't
Ready? Watch.
unwind.
Ready?
Wait. Do it like this, though. Do you mean this?
No, I like it actually like I don't know.
All right,
Let's just go on. This is going deep
freaky
and dark. All right, let's keep going.
What color is your toothbrush?
White.
Okay. What's your secret
An
snack?
electric one. Guitar chocolate chips straight out of the jar. Dark chocolate.
Say that again.
It's a brand called Guitard, and they're my favorite dark chocolate chips. And there's a jar of them because I empty the bag so that they're more accessible.
Sure.
And it's like
that.
Did you say secret snack or favorite?
Secret.
Secret.
Yeah.
Closet eating. Yes, chocolate chips.
That's so not true. I've seen your secret snacks at my house.
What are my secret snacks?
Cheetos, Fruit Loops.
Stop,
All right,
Pringles.
that didn't happen.
When in your pantry.
How do you take your coffee?
I drink it with some cashew milk or almond milk. My favorite right now is Malk unsweetened vanilla almond milk and 2 scoops of collagen.
I was just gonna say. Okay, I was gonna say amino acids. Didn't sound right.
Amino acids.
It was
I mean, there's
collagen.
amino acids in collagen. You're like
grass-fed collagen.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that real?
Yes.
Is that real? I was saying it to be funny. Cute. Okay. What is the last movie you saw in theaters? Oh gosh, that's a hard one.
The new Grinch. It's the best.
I forgot. Is it so good?
It's so good. You have to go see it.
We didn't do what we were supposed to.
It might be my new favorite, even over the original. And you guys know, I like everybody watching
Jim
this. I'm
Carrey?
a Christmas. Oh, I didn't like that one.
You didn't?
I mean, over the
But the girl. But that's what they do. Like over the cartoon? No, I'm not moving on until we deal with this. Over the cartoon?
I think so. You have to see it. Okay. It's very, very cute.
I'm gonna pull back judgment.
It's very sweet. You'll like it.
What's the last gift you gave?
The last gift I gave. Oh, Farmhouse Girl flowers. Love them. Send them to everybody.
Best.
They're like the best holiday client business work gift ever. Last gift I gave.
What cause is dear to your heart?
Oh. What cause is dear? There's a lot of them. I would say Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep. Probably. There's a lot. March of Dimes. Preemptive Love.
Oh, totally. Yeah, love. Those are all.
Gosh, there's a lot, but mostly anything that has to do with kids. Anything that has to do with kids. How could you not? Yeah.
Those are
probably
totally
three organizations that I would say.
That's great.
Yeah.
What is this big question. What's number one on your bucket list?
Oh gosh.
Right?
Cooking with Ina Garten.
And Jeffrey.
I mean, Jeffrey seems very kind, but I don't care about cooking with Jeffrey.
But you could meet her butcher.
I could.
You could walk to all the places
I want to
goes.
And I want to go to Paris with Ina too.
Oh, you stepped up your bucket list.
Sure did.
But you're like, I want to cook at her house.
Can you take me on a trip?
And in Paris.
I know.
Okay. I love her and I don't cook. I've tried to get to know my butcher that way, but it gets weird. I'm like, you're 16, your name's Seth. You're just trying to get through high school. We're not going to have this relationship. All right, last one.
Seth.
Where do you want to go you've never been? Don't say Paris with Ina.
You know what I want right now is to go to Blackberry Farm. There's a lot of countries and beautiful places that I would love to see, but
that's a great one.
I've
never been.
I was almost going to say that for my bucket list. It just feels magical, and it's so close to here. And every time I come here, I'm like, I just want to drive to Blackberry Farm.
That's a good one.
That's where I want to go right now. But I also would love to go to Australia, and I know that there's Yes, I want to go for two reasons. One, because I've never seen it, but two, because my people that are out there watching right now, it goes US, Canada, Australia in terms of like the amount of people. And so there's so many people in Australia that I really want to go and meet. And I want to go and see all of them and thank them for their support. And I've not yet been able to do a book tour out there. So that's like one of my eventual.
I love that.
You want to come?
It's a long flight.
Is there a boat? Flight.
I hate flying.
I'm going to keep signing. Do we want to take any questions or I think we're done?
No, I think we're done. Okay. But I just want to say this. I love that your answer was that Australia for this reason.
Oh.
I see you live that out a lot. You would choose things to be with people who you've been able to have an impact on and who you'd love to connect with.
Yes,
so
that is true.
Well done.
I mean, that's why we do the work that we do, right? I'm like, I'm not writing these cookbooks to sit in my kitchen by myself. It's to impact people. And then I want to hear those stories because that's what keeps me going and wanting to do more. And the only way to do that is by getting out and getting to see them and getting to meet them in person.
And go to Australia.
Go to Australia, which wouldn't be a bad trip. That'd be amazing.
Wouldn't.
Man. I'm going to keep signing even after we sign off. premiercollectibles.com/Danielle. Go and get your books. They'll be signed and they'll be shipped to you. And thanks, Angie. If you're coming to my Tampa stop, you'll get a little bit more of this comedian here.
Like, I was planning to, but I'm going to bail on Tampa. I am so proud of her. I know you love her the same way that I do. So if you haven't gotten it yet, eat what you love. Well done.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to keep signing because I think...
Keep going.